What is up, guys? The E.L.T. Nation here, and today's story is a pretty crazy one. I hope you guys really enjoy this, and let's just begin. So today's story all takes place back when I was in 6th grade. It all started off just like any other normal day. I got up, had breakfast, got dressed, got in the car, went to school, get through most of my day as normal. Not really much to talk about there. Then 12 o'clock came along. It was time for lunch, so I went down to the cafeteria, and I've talked about this before on my YouTube channel, but the aide I was working with throughout 6th and 7th grade, I did not really like her very much. She was pretty strict. She believed that I couldn't even do anything I wanted just because I'm blind, which obviously was not true. But not only that, but she would just react harshly over the smallest of things. Even if I make a mistake, she would yell at me for it. For example, there was one time when I was walking to class. I was in my classroom at this point. I was trying to sit down, and I was not aware that my aide was standing there. She was standing right next to my desk and right next to my seat that I didn't even see her. And despite me saying, "Excuse me, I didn't mean to hit you, I'm sorry," she was just extremely rude. And she even said, "I don't accept your apology." That's literally how rude she was, and I didn't really like her. But anyways, enough of that. I got in the cafeteria, sat down at my lunch table, and started pulling out my lunch. I had a sandwich, some grapes, cheese crackers, and a great flavored juice box that I would drink pretty much every day. And underneath the juice box was a cooling thing where you would keep the juice or any liquid cold during school. However, this is where things get worse. So, this juice box that my family packed for me was still frozen with ice because I remember they ended up putting some in the freezer early that morning because they had recently just bought it and they were obviously still hot because they had been out there in the hot sun in the sunroom. So they brought them all inside and put them in the freezer so they'll get warm and then so they'll get cold. And then once they're cold enough, they would just take them out of the freezer, right? That's what I thought. And when they put that juice box in my bag, they thought that maybe the ice would have melted by then, by lunch. And that did not really happen very much because when I tried to open this juice box, despite it being frozen with ice, it was the whole thing was frozen. I could just feel it from the outside. It spilt everywhere. And my aide sees this and she yells at me like it's my fault that this happened, which that was not the case. And she made me clean all this mess up, even though it was a complete mistake. And cleaning that up was not very easy because the tools that we were using to clean this juice up with, all we were using were paper towels. And from my experience, paper towels do not do very well with cleaning liquid up. And I even learned this before because there were times where I actually spilled soda over when I was eating food in here in my room, and some of the soda just spilled. And despite me cleaning up with a napkin, it was still sticky. And this is where I've learned that paper towels aren't going to cut it. You either have to use a dishcloth with water and soap to clean that mess up. So it was not easy. It took me quite a while. It took like 10 minutes to clean that up, obviously. And our lunch period was 25 minutes long. And because those first 10 minutes of it was spent cleaning up the mess that I made, it essentially cut my lunchtime short, which meant that I only had 15 minutes left to eat. So I finished eating my lunch after this. However, I couldn't even drink my drink because while some of the drink was still in the carton, most of it was spilt all over the table. Not just where I was, but also where my aide was sitting. And even some of this juice spilled all over her food too. So I wasn't the only one affected by this. But anyways, I didn't have anything to drink, and the drink that I had was basically ice now. There was no drink in it pretty much. So all I did was I ate my sandwich, ate everything else I had, and I went through the rest of the day, and that's where the story ends. But anyways, that is all I gotta say. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace out, everybody.